seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open.
Ever since I was a kid, there's one thing I've always wondered about throughout my life. From playing soccer at 5 years old, wondering how to score the perfect hat trick, to my first football game as a junior captain. There comes times when we make the perfect catch, the touchdown, the interception, the conversion on the last down. Then we hit a bump, a wide open catch. It was right there, right in front of you. How'd you miss it? Self-doubt gets louder, doesn't let you concentrate. How am I supposed to achieve greatness if I mess up like that? Athletes don't mess up. If you take your sport seriously, I bet there's a high number of you that felt this way. It might not even be in sports. In the class you want to ace, in the presentation you just did, maybe in that job interview. What happens in these key moments? Why can't we concentrate to our full potential? Well, that's what we're gonna find out.
Shady baby, I'm hot, light up a radical sun. Big up Battolini, Mini, Money, Mo, and Flower, you're the chosen one.
There should be a recipe for overcoming failure, right? After dozens of Google searches and researching many methods, I was told to do basic things like breathe, meditate, eat healthy, and stay focused. But how do you necessarily stay focused and do all these things? How do I put all this in one simple formula? There has to be one, right? Turns out, I didn't find one that had all the pre-game rituals and in-game grounding techniques to make it simple for all athletes across all sports. So I decided it would be fit to reach out to 3 individuals who know inside and out the competitive environment of sports to help me create this formula. Dr. Cassidy Preston, experienced mental performance and resilience coach that has worked with many coaches and athletes. He specializes in ways to strengthen your mind and become mentally fit. He also hosts the podcast Beyond the X's and O's, a place where he sits down with multiple successful coaches and talks about the development of a strong mind. Greg Guind was a key piece in helping me develop the formula. His social media links will be posted in the description if you want to give him a call or reach out to him. Second person that helped me develop this formula, Dave Buchanan, head coach for the A&M Marauders senior football team. Has coached for over 18 years and has developed a few of the best teams in Canada. He was a key piece of the success A&M High School had in 2016 and is still developing great athletes even in a pandemic. Taught me a lot of things from a coaching perspective to help me develop this formula. The last person who helped me develop this formula is Coach Mike Solanke, recruiting coordinator for McMaster University, one of the strongest football teams in Canadian university football. He also coached in the CJFL with the Burlington Braves and the Hamilton Hurricanes. To say he has knowledge of the game of football is an understatement. Another coach who has had a different journey and has taught me what he knows about pre-game preparation. Now, I know who I'm talking to, but where do I start? How do I start developing my theory? Do I ask them about pre-game nutrition, how to deal with different types of criticism, or how to let go of mistakes? Well, I actually asked them all sorts of questions, ranging from nutrition to dealing with criticism, and there were actually a few trends in what they told me. So I highlighted all the trends, and that's how I started, seeing patterns in what first-hand individuals experienced throughout their careers and interpreting it, to develop a universal PDF that looks like... Wait, we're not there yet. We're getting there, I promise. Before looking at this PDF and understanding how to use it, there's a few things you need to understand to know how I developed these interpretations and how I got to these conclusions. One of the main struggles was organizing what was most important in a chronological order, but with a mix of their responses and my interpretations of their messages, I constructed a timeline pyramid of things you should do to maximize your preparation and confidence. There was a lot of things I talked about with all these coaches, and I could show you the whole interview and you'd learn a lot, but I'll show you the key points of what we talked about. So let's get started. Step 1. I divided this pyramid into 3 sections: pre-game, in-game, and post-game. I know this formula is for pre-game preparation, But for you to be mentally fit before an event, you must know how to react to it after as well. This is why post-game evaluation is as important as in-game and pre-game. Let's start with pre-game preparation. First, honesty. For you to even become a better version of yourself, you have to understand your preferences. This might take some time to learn, but you ultimately must know yourself. Don't be someone you're not. For example, before any sports game or presentation, some people might prefer cracking jokes with friends, while others might take a more serious approach to it. For example, someone might prepare by closing their eyes and listening to calm music, while another person might listen to metal, rap, or rock music. Dr. Cassidy Preston explains it very well.
Some people get caught up and think it's like, I just gotta get pumped up. Great athletes are super pumped. Maybe not for you. Some athletes I might work with, but a lot of them, it's like, let's calm down.
Yeah.
Relax a little bit. I was listening near the end of my career. I really started to do this, and my values were changing. I was listening to Elton John before a game. Man, like just having fun, like relax, loose, like, so you gotta find what works for you.
What works for you? By honesty, I also mean accepting you're human. You have to let go of your ego and be honest with yourself. You're prepared for setbacks, but it's how you react to those setbacks that matter. Take this example. Imagine a boxer preparing for a fight. They go into a fight thinking they're not going to get hit at all. What happens when they get hit? That's what I call not being honest to yourself, or not accepting all the outcomes. You have to accept that there will be issues with your game plan, but again, it's how you react to this. This is why honesty is the first step. Honesty could mean anything for whatever you're doing. Maybe it's accepting that you might stutter once in a presentation, but not let that get to you. Or maybe it's not making all the 3-pointers that you attempt. Honesty means acceptance and understanding yourself. Step 2. Biological preparation, or physical health. After you've understood why you're doing what you're doing, and you understand that you're capable of making mistakes, comes physical health preparation. Coach Buchanan does a great job of explaining why this is so important.
Anytime that you're sleep deprived, if you're not sleeping well, you're not going to heal as well. You're not going to be mentally focused. You're not going to be able to handle stress as well. When you get down to a chemical situation, you're not releasing chemicals like you're receiving them the same way you should. And then you get that connection with diet. And so when you have the correct diet and you're eating well, and then usually it's going to lend itself to better sleep patterns. That person that's focusing on the diet probably is focusing on the sleep, so that goes hand in hand, and they're going to try to get the sleep that they need. And if you don't do those two things well, you're probably going to supplement somehow that is not healthy for you.
Just like he said, you won't deal with mistakes the same way. You'll feel a lot less confident and won't have the ability to properly manage emotions and chemicals the way you should. Without proper nutrition, you won't have proper concentration. It's like a snowball effect. The better your nutrition is, the better your sleep will be, and you'll achieve flow states so much faster. Third step, academic preparation. Once you've gotten your honesty down and have maintained a proper physical routine, you must know what you're practicing. If it's practicing a football play, you should practice those football plays mentally or physically, however many times you need, to become confident without looking at any playbooks. Memorize everything you need. Even if you're doing a math test, memorize all the equations or understand what you're doing from an academic point of view. Mr. Buchanan also has another great point of why academic preparation is so important.
Being prepared probably is the next piece that would help with that mental aspect. When you are prepared well, no matter what it is, like if you're prepared for this interview, you're going to be calm. If you're prepared to play, you're going to be calm. You're going to have more confidence. The self-doubt doesn't creep in as easily. You know that if you're not prepared for a math test, you go in and you start to see things that you're not doing well, you're done.
Yeah.
The same thing goes through sport, right?
Knowing what you're studying is an important part of pregame preparation. You must know your playbook, your script, or an outline of what you're doing to maximize the chance of you remaining calm and concentrated. Fourth and last pregame step for mental preparation. Once you've understood all these prior steps and have been working on them, reach out to your coach, teammates, classmates, family members, or friends. Communication is key to feeling confident. If you have any questions about plays or how you should prepare or anything to do with what your event is about, ask away. Ask anybody anything you need. Talk to teammates so you eliminate some extra lingering worries. You have no idea how important delivery and communication is in anything you do. Coach Mike Solanke explains to us about how important it is to have someone to talk to.
Good to, have peers that you can reflect, situations with and get another perspective on things.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think we're so close to the issue that we just really don't give ourselves an out.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Letting go of any worries. So when it comes time to play, you play hard. You show your full potential. Now you're in the game. You've studied everything, prepared well, but you're overthinking about a few plays, or about how you'll play. This is where grounding yourself and relaxing yourself come in. There are so many methods to ground yourself, such as imagery, self-talk, or breath work. All these different techniques that can ground you in the moment and keep you calm and collective. Everyone is different, and for some, imagery works way better than breath work, or vice versa. You have to try for yourself and experiment. It takes time understanding what works for you. Dr. Cassidy Preston and Coach Mike Solanke explained the importance of it.
I think breathing is so critical. So I think breathing in the immediate just helps to settle you down, right? So we don't allow sort of like the event and the emotions take over us and, continue to sort of make us feel neutralized and unable to do anything to help ourselves, right? So I definitely, any exercise and breathing sort of helps to clear the mind and allow us to regain focus and sort of work out the problem.
Do you believe breathing is a big part, like in game, like when you
Yeah, so that would be we tie that right into the reset routine. We use imagery right before, mentally prepare before. Use breathing can be part of the pregame routine. Meditation's a big part. Meditation's like a reset routine. So all these are kind of different, helpful, effective strategies. And so that's kind of the way. So a reset routine is in game. So that's like between shifts, between plays. You could do it while you're running or skating in the sport. It's just taking a breath, dealing with your thoughts and emotions, and embracing them and letting them go, right? And so it's a willingness problem too. Is another nice way to think about dealing with your thoughts and emotions in game. It's like, am I willing to accept and let that go? No, it's unacceptable. I'm not willing to. Well, then you're going to hold on to it and you're going to make a loud noise. And it's like, it's accepting the possibility that you might lose, that you could, make a mistake, that you're human. You can't embrace and get perspective and you just try to be super positive versus super negative, which is a common thing. Just be positive, really positive self-talk. Yeah. Not helpful. That's a fantasy. That's not true. Anybody that's just positive all the time? What if you're in a really tough situation? It's not about being super negative. It's about having a growth mindset, seeing both sides. Yeah. Our brain actually is really good at seeing both the positives and the drawbacks, the benefits and the drawbacks. And by seeing both sides, we can stay more centered.
Now, this obviously takes some time to master, and that's okay. It's just about keeping your head up, and like Dr. Cassidy said, a growth mindset. This may be one of the most important steps, if not the most important, since this is the way you achieve flow state and succeed at whatever you're doing. Sixth and final step, you finish the game, presentation, or whatever event you were in. Your mind goes over and over about all the good things and bad things you did. It'll stay lingering with you throughout the day. Phrases like, I should have done this better, are sticking with you. Well, this is reflection. Athletes or people striving to do better tend to criticize themselves a lot more than they should. It's about having a balanced reflection, thinking about ways to improve, yet understanding that what we did is in the past. It's about embracing emotions and learning to let them go, to use that energy and reflection in a way to better ourselves in the next game, not to put shame on ourselves, since this only lowers your confidence and playmaking abilities. Reflection helps you understand yourself better while having a balanced mindset. Again, one of the most important parts in the preparation pyramid. Now, you've taken the time to understand what I base my formula on. The question now is, how do I apply this in a simple yet efficient way to help me organize my emotions and achieve honesty, great physical health, academic preparation, communication skills, grounding yourself, and then a healthy reflection? Well, let me show you. There's 2 pages. Each of them contains 3 steps. Step 1. Questions that target honesty. You write out strengths and weaknesses, short-term and long-term goal. why you're doing it, and a pump-up song. I know for me, I always get excited and thrilled when I listen to Rocky. It gives me a motive and lets me embrace my true self. For you, it could be the Beatles, Drake, Thomas the Train theme song, anything that keeps you honest to yourself, and something you can relate to. I decided to incorporate strengths and weaknesses, since that gives you the ability to be honest to yourself. Gives you the ability to be conscious of yourself while being confident, knowing what you need to work on while knowing your strengths. Your short-term goal and your long-term goal addresses why you're doing it. It reminds you of the process, your why, the reason you keep going even if you feel negative emotions. The next prompt is the why am I doing this? This is paired up with the short-term and long-term goals. Whenever you're anxious or second-guessing yourself, you can look back and see what you wrote. It gives you the ability to persevere and know yourself, your true intentions. Next, health. I believe being conscious of what you need to work on while maintaining confidence is key to success. This is why I organize this, for you to be honest to yourself. Let's say you're preparing for a boxing match. In terms of your nutrition, hydration, and quality of sleep, right before the match, knowing how well you stuck to your diet or your plan is key. This is why you can rate it 1 through 10. You could even incorporate decimals if you wanted to. Understanding how well you did so you can better yourself for the next match gives you a clear and concise outline. I also added one thing you did well paired with something you need to improve on. Being honest with yourself and critically thinking of ways to better yourself while knowing what you did well will give you an honest approach to whatever event you're going to do. This will guide you and help you develop that growth mindset. Authenticity is key. Third step, the academics. I put questions such as, how efficient was my studying technique, to help you remember what works. If you studied a certain way and you rated it a 9, then you can come back to it and feel confident that you're studying in the best way possible. I also incorporated the question, ways to improve my studying technique, to address weaknesses in however you studied. This question lets you understand that whatever you're going to do is not going to be perfect, but you should always strive for it. Even if you have one of the best studying techniques, there's always something you can change, and that's okay. I incorporated something I struggle with, and something I feel confident about to help you organize what you need to spend more time on. If you feel confident about a certain play, but not in another one, then you can organize your time accordingly. Whenever you're stressed out about what to study, you can refer to this outline to help you go back on track. Finally, page 2, communication. Knowing the point of view of others and getting other people's input on your specific event can clear up any misconceptions and worries. Asking a coach or teammate or classmate for any help is okay. This is why I incorporated a list of questions that you can ask people around you. Thinking of last minute clarification so you go into the event fresh and relaxed. I also put a section where you can think of people you can rely on in this event. It gives you comfort knowing you have people beside you, having your back. Even if you can't think of anybody on the spot, you can even incorporate animals or an object that you can rely on. Something that centers your mind and relaxes you. Step 5, the in-game step. The step you focus on when you get anxious. You fill this out before the event you're participating in to remember the different techniques you could use. On the sideline, when you're not playing, you can utilize imagery, deep breaths, listening to surrounding, and clearing your mind, or any other techniques you've heard of. You should choose a few you can try out to understand yourself better and know what works and doesn't. Step 6, the last step. We're finally here. This is the only step you fill out after the event. If you did well or didn't do so good, fill this out to stay centered. Some people find it hard to let go, so this can organize your thoughts. You fill out things you did well, things you didn't do well, and how to fix them, to be conscious of what you did, but also be optimistic. Know you've got it under control, and know you can fix it. Remember, it's not the end. You just have to stay concentrated. And that's it. It takes a few minutes to fill out and saves you lots of time worrying. The link for the PDF can be found on my Instagram page, as well as in the description of this video. Honestly, this outline or formula, or recipe, or whatever you want to call it, wasn't just made by me. It took the mind of many people. People like my experienced coaches, Dr. Cassidy Preston, and even more things I've learned from being a football player. There's coaches, teammates, friends, and family, and people around me that have helped me out. It's pieces from everyone's mind that I've put together to make this formula. Someone that I didn't interview but has been a big support is my coach Daniel Pep. Someone that has always given me small pointers and tips and has always helped me out. Props to all of you guys. One day, I hope this can be a formula used around the world in schools, professional teams, or university athletic teams. My goal is for young students or athletes to worry less about what others think and instead focus on the potential they have. There's a long road for this project, and we're looking for bright minds. I know people say things like, sky's the limit, but I just don't agree with that. There's no limit to what you can accomplish. So, keep going. That's how you can be like Mike.